Hello and welcome to Stories from the Red Couch, episode 52. I'm Robin Cook, and today my guest is Monika Sprott. Hello, Monika.
Hi, Robin.
How are you going?
Good.
That's
How
good.
are you?
Yeah. I almost had a little brain conniption then, and I'm thinking,
What's her surname?
Yeah, what is that? I've only known you for a few years now. What is that? No, it's all good. It's all good.
Good.
Welcome. Thank you for coming.
Don't test me on any questions.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
I guess that I met you through our community gardening connection.
We did.
Yeah.
Where did we meet first time?
Well, I think I might have come down to Bedina Community
Okay.
Gardens for a little bit of a poke around.
Yep.
And see what you're doing down
Well,
there.
that's what blew me away first, was your gardening and the kitchen teaching and all of that.
What an amazing garden that is down at Bedina.
It is. Yeah,
It's
I love
so
it.
gorgeous.
It's a special space.
It is a special space, and what I really love about it, and I've visited, a truckload of community gardens, and they go right across the spectrum,
They
don't
do.
they? From
They're
being
very different, yeah.
massively successful to being less successful and having lots of different purposes.
Yeah.
But the Bedina one seems to be really well supported.
It is. It
Yeah.
is.
So
And-
how did you come to be involved with that?
Well, my story, I wasn't there at the beginning. It was there already, and I had never seen it. And I was not a gardener. I didn't eat healthy, none of that.
Yeah.
That was all what other hippies did. And then I had a health scare.
Yeah.
And I had a cancer scare. And that week, between knowing that it was a cancer scare and it not being cancer, I was walking along with a friend, and we passed this community garden, and I kind of looked in and thought, ugh, gardening. And my friend said, you should grow your own veggies, because I knew I had to eat healthier. And I went, oh. And usually when I hear something 3 times, I feel like I have to act on it.
Okay.
And this was the 3rd time I'd heard, you should grow some veggies.
Yeah.
And so I did.
I'm quite the opposite of that,
Yeah.
and we're very similar in so many ways, aren't we? But if someone tells me something 3 times, I'm just even more determined not to do it.
Oh, okay. No, for me, it's just
I'm a
almost
shocker.
like this superstition. And on the 3rd time I hear something, I'm like, oh, no, I have to do that.
So how did you get involved?
So there was a number, and I rang them, and what's involved in getting a garden bed. And got lovely Susie, and she showed me, signed me up, and I just started growing. In that first year, I got the dud bed that nobody wanted, but I thought, how hard can it be?
Yeah.
And I grew stuff, and it just kept growing. I was, pretty anal about watering and everything every day, and because I was following the rules at that stage. I've become much less a rule follow as far as gardening goes, but back then it was like, what are the rules?
Sure. Well, you want it to be successful.
Yes, you do. I know. I need to have the best garden, and for that first year it was.
Yeah. So and what has come from that? I mean, you've done lots of different things from there, and you really have a meandering kind of life.
I do, and I get very passionate about certain things, but certain threads run all the way through.
So where has the garden led you?
The garden has led me to a sense of community. In the Bedina area, it's led me to a few very inspiring people, both in that area but in the wider area, just people who are doing rather than just talking about things, which I really respect. And so I run the Sunshine Coast Seed Savers now, because you start talking to someone about growing from seed, and you realise that it can't just be any old seed. And then I just have all these inspirational people, and then this sort of audience there at the garden, not audience, but a group of people watching the garden, seeing what it does. So I like to just bring it to the normal everyday people,
A bit like a conduit.
Yeah.
I feel very much like a conduit in that sense too, gathering information and then delivering it.
Because I know what it feels like to not, like I come across people who have lived this their whole life. I lived on a commune when I was young and all this sort of stuff. I didn't. I was the 80s, big hair, hairspray, the whole thing. So I just know what it means to not believe all this.
And not have it come as an intuitive.
So I'd rather just do it, and whatever comes out of that, I'll just run with it.
Yeah.
Let's see where that goes.
Yeah.
But gardening has stuck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
And I can't see myself leaving anytime soon.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I guess that you've taken on a number of roles within the...
Yeah.
What have you done?
President, vice president, community engagement officer. I resisted it. That first 2 years, I was like, sit on your hands. No, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. It means commitment, and you don't want a commitment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like...
I think you're a bit of
a... to be in charge.
Well, I think you're a serial involver as
I
well,
am a
aren't you?
bit,
You're
yeah.
just, that sounds good.
Yeah, and what I like an idea that I can run with, and it's taken the fear out of doing things. Like I used to imagine myself running workshops and things, and think about it, and think about it, and think about it to the point that I thought like I'd already done it.
Yes.
And now those thoughts come in, and like I just met with someone last week who does workshops on ecological living and recycling in your urban environment.
Okay.
And I just talked to her and like, let's do a workshop. Let's do a cooking workshop. And I don't do them, like I don't give them, but I just make them
happen.
I like to make them happen.
Yeah. So organising and connecting.
Yeah.
You were saying that before about working and being part of community.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
that's
and I
something
just I love when I see, this is kind of what makes me tick, is when I see someone who needs something and someone who has something, and I go, oh, have you met so-and-so? And then they can work that out.
There's tremendous value in that, isn't there?
Yeah. And it requires being fairly observant and listening to a lot of people and what they're saying, and then someone else will be saying what they want or would like to see happen. Or
So there's a real series of things that have to go on for you to be able to make those connections. People have to be able to say what it is that they do and what it is that they need.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also be open and generous in how they do that.
Yeah.
And then the connection can happen.
Yeah, yeah. And just got to keep watching for things and finding the person that wants what someone else has.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
So that comes to a whole range of things, and on our table today we've got some tomatoes and kale and dill.
Yep.
And chives and
all sorts of things.
Rosemary.
From the garden, but so my favourite word at the moment is harvest.
Yes.
But not just harvest in what I grow. And this was a big epiphany for me a couple of years ago. It's not about being self-sustainable for me.
No.
That's just a lot of work.
Yes.
I don't want to be self-sustainable and to have
it's hard work.
Everything, pigs and cows and goats and chickens and a big garden. I mean, I'm lazy.
Yeah.
I don't want to do all that.
I'm lazy too.
So it was more about who has what, who is growing one thing, and not just growing, it's everything. Like even recently I was decluttering. It's endless decluttering. But I was decluttering and I found a 40-year-old book on miso.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And
that's a bit of a treasure.
Yeah. Well, kind of, but I don't eat miso.
Yeah.
So it's not a treasure for me. But I didn't want to just
throw it out.
into
for sure.
into the op shop. So I remembered a guy who this is his thing, and he's in Brisbane, and I messaged him, and so I mean to do that with every single book is hard.
Yeah.
But I really want everything to go to its
just someone
who's going to value it. Yeah. I don't
That's
like
a great
waste.
idea. I really love that idea because I have a lot of stuff too, and I know that my parents-in-law live down the road, and when their time comes to shuffle off this mortal coil, we will end up with a bunch of stuff, and I think it's nice to be able to give it to people who would really value it.
Yeah, and but finding that.
Yeah.
And it made me happy that I found, he was like, oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
And he paid the postage and.
Fabulous.
Yeah, and it's just went to the right place.
So has all of this come out of your garden?
No, I went to a harvest swap on the weekend, which is one of my recent favourite things.
So tell me a bit about that, because I'm not sure that everyone knows about harvest swaps. So tell me
Yeah, a harvest swap is where you take stuff that you have enough of, too much of,
Yep.
and you take it, and it's everything gets laid out on the table, and chit chat and everything, and you go, ooh, yak on. And then at one point, Leonie says, okay, everyone help yourself, and it's really works beautifully. Everyone helps yourself, and you came with things you don't need.
Yes.
Or don't have enough of, and you go home with more than what you came with. And like I picked up a magazine. Someone brought magazines, and I thought, that's a good idea.
Yeah. So where is that?
That's at the Dilla Bar.
And can people join?
Yeah, it's not even a join thing. You just turn up.
Oh, okay.
If you just Sunshine Coast Harvest Swap,
Okay.
I think.
And so that's a Facebook?
It's a Facebook run group, yeah. And then I love Helen's idea of Spare Harvest, which is, connecting people with people who have too many lemons with people who need lemons. So it's just a nice synergy.
It's beautiful, really, isn't it? Yeah.
And I don't know why that excites me so much, but it does.
Simple things.
Yeah, simple things.
Yeah.
And my life was more complicated when I was trying to do too much, and now I like doing it.
I think it's nice just to share in that abundance.
Yeah.
And take it out of take economics out of it.
Yeah.
And just share food.
And that's one of my
goods.
problems is that I've taken economics out of it.
Yes.
But
we still need a bit of it, don't we?
And I don't. All of this doesn't work once you add economics.
No, I know. How do we pay our electricity bill with kale?
I know. You can't. Yeah. I mean, I probably got that magazine for a few leaves of kale. But,
yes.
But yeah, no, you can't pay your electricity bill.
All right, so I mean, similar to me again, you've had to reinvent yourself away from what you were doing. So tell me about what you were doing and what you're doing now.
Well, for a long time I wasn't doing much of anything. I was being a mum and, driving the kids to school. And it's busy and all that. But I think I held on to that a little bit longer, probably through lack of confidence in what I started as a teacher. Yeah. So I did teaching for a while, and then it was kids. And then you kind of don't know that now what.
I know, and what you're capable of doing.
Yeah.
You really do lose a lot of confidence.
And you start thinking, I can work in a shop.
Yeah, no, I thought I could have gone and packed shelves.
Yeah.
at
and I was
Coles and
like,
Woolies.
I could work in a shop, but part of you just goes, I really
Not that
don't
there's
want
anything
to.
wrong with doing that, but...
No, there's nothing wrong with doing that, but physically, I physically don't think I could. You know, I did work in a puzzle and game shop for a while. I really liked that, but on your feet, 8 hours a day
it's hard work.
I don't know that I could do that.
Yeah.
So I went from not doing much of outside the home and not having a purpose. I'm still not doing much, but I have a purpose now.
Okay.
I feel like I have a purpose, and so I'm also teaching English to kids in China over the internet, which is a thing.
It's amazing, isn't it?
A year ago,
it's a whole new world.
I didn't know it was a thing.
Yeah,
and I'm in a Facebook group about the Barefoot Investor, which is just using your money wisely. And they always talk about side hustles. And in amongst all these, fill out surveys and Uber driving. I did Uber driving.
Oh yes, that's right. I remember.
In amongst all that, just one comment was teaching English to kids overseas. And I went, ooh, well, that sounds something I could do. And then I thought, what are these companies? Can you trust them? Blah, 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 blah.
So much doubt.
I had all the negatives, but I thought, well, what's there to lose? I can opt out at any time.
Okay.
And that was my safety net. And that is a world that I am loving.
That's fantastic,
really
isn't
loving it? Yeah.
So how does that work? I mean, I can't even begin to imagine.
China has lots of people.
Yes.
And lots of kids, and they want their children to work in a worldwide economy.
Okay.
And so they're teaching them, and they're telling them, teach them young. And now my area of expertise is, I was a Montessori teacher, and it kind of is young children.
Yes.
And they do learn language so much quicker than older kids or adults, and it's different. You just talk to them.
Okay.
And, you know, the first time you meet them on the platform, they cry. because there's this thing on the computer that knows their name and talks to them.
Wow.
I had one little girl, she cried. She's so cute now. She's just, I've had all my students I've had for a year now.
Wow.
So I love them.
Yeah. And so how do you see the progress? I mean, obviously they can see it, but is it being monitored and measured and outcomes and expectations?
No, I struck the Chinese company that doesn't do all that.
Okay.
Which is a big bonus, because I could I know there are companies where you have to go outcome and you've got to do 20 pages in a lesson, and whether they get it or not.
Yeah.
This one is about conversation.
Great.
So you get the kids. I don't know. We had a birthday party last week. My little Leo, he turned 6.
Yes.
And I had puppets, and I'm singing happy birthday, and he's like, oh, can I see the monkey puppet? And I get the monkey. Puppets all over the place. And then at the end he goes, I would like to see the cat now, please, Teacher Monika. And I'm like, oh, the cat's not going to like this. But hey, he used a full sentence.
That's great.
Yeah. Can I please see the cat now?
That's fantastic.
That's a full sentence.
Yeah.
And they find a way to communicate.
That's brilliant. And so is there a format or a structure that you have to follow that you've been given?
You get it's like a book that you can buy in book form, but it's on the screen, and then your picture and their picture, and you can both draw and write on the screen.
Wow, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Have you you've brought one of your puppets, haven't you? Can we have a look at the puppet?
This is Tilly. Hello, Tilly. Hello, Tilly. Hello, Robin.
Oh, hello, Tilly.
How are you
Tilly's
today?
just dropped a hanky on Rosella.
Tilly, the way I use the puppets is I use human form because of my Montessori background. Under about 7 or 8, they don't do fantasy, so there's all these other people doing unicorns and things like that.
Sure.
But this is better. This is another student in the class.
Yeah.
So if I'm asking what's your name and they're not understanding,
Yes.
I will bring in one of the puppets, because I might say what's your name and they'll say what's your name.
Okay.
So they're just repeating. So then I talk to Tilly, what's your name? My name's Tilly. Oh, hello, Tilly. And then Tilly will go, hello, what's your name?
Okay.
And then we've got a conversation happening.
That's brilliant. What a great idea.
Yeah. No, so puppets are amazing. Excuse me, Tilly. There you go.
Unceremoniously dumped.
Off screen, they're on the floor.
Yeah. Okay, so not that difficult then?
No. I mean, you need to be a native speaker. You need to, they say a bachelor degree, but you can have an ESL degree as well, or a TAFE ESL, and you have to have good internet.
Yeah, of course.
Everyone I've referred hasn't got through because of their internet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
interesting.
it has to be pretty good.
Yeah.
You need to be on the NBN.
Yes.
Our internet in Australia is worse than in the slums of India. They have better internet. There's people teaching in India.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
God. Now, another thing that you really love doing is Toastmasters.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Well, many years ago, I wanted to be a famous speaker.
Didn't we all?
Because I had a lot to say. And so this is about, I don't know, probably 15, 20 years ago. And I went to Toastmasters 3 times, and then I had to get up. My next visit was I was supposed to get up and talk about myself. I had 3 little kids, and I didn't know who I was, so I left it. And then it took 20 years and I'm back, and I get an opportunity to speak and learn to speak a little bit clearer and keep my thoughts ordered a little bit better. But it's just fun. It's just more for fun. One day something will come where my gardening and my Toastmasters and my teaching and all of that will come together, including not being outside in the summer.
Yes.
Because that's kind of the hard one with gardening.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah, I just can't do it in summer.
I can't do it. And it's like,
Way too hot.
I could have done things with the the gardening and teach people about gardening, but it's a lot of it's outside.
Yeah.
And it fatigues me.
Yeah. But that is something that you'd like to do, though, isn't it? Is to pull those things together and
Somehow, yes.
run some workshops or...
And sustainability is coming into that for me too.
Yeah.
Watching a whole lot of people and what they're doing to help the environment and all that, and training people. I'm just thinking,
And your life
something.
has changed a lot around that over the last few years, hasn't it?
Yeah, and I'm just slowly making little changes.
Yeah.
I don't think you can sustain change if you make big radical changes to something.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And then you just kind of taper off, and it was too hard.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I was vegetarian for 2 weeks once, but it was too much too soon.
Yeah. Well, what about your family? Was that when the kids were still at home and everyone had to be vegetarian?
No,
Just you.
Yeah, just me. And then you're cooking a meal for them, and it's kind of, now I try and eat, if I do eat meat, but I eat it, I see where it's come from, and I prefer to purchase where I know that it's been ethically done. And try not as much. But that's can't. I just didn't feel well when I was vegetarian.
Yeah, fair enough. What sort of things wake you up at 2 o'clock in the morning?
Why did I know you were going to say this and I didn't prepare for this? Probably exciting things.
Yeah?
Good things.
That's good.
Yeah. Ideas of a workshop that would go well at the community garden, or someone who said something and then I've gone, what if that person did this there? And it's actually nothing to do with me, but it's like that person could hire that hall, and that would be the best way for them to get their message. I don't know.
There's such a joy
Silly
in
things.
connecting,
Yeah,
isn't there?
yeah.
I'm a real
That's
connector
my
too.
thing. That seems to have become my thing.
Yeah.
Is just, and when I have to organise something, it's kind of, I used to be scared to organise it because you have to ask everybody, what do you want to do? How do you want to do it? When do you want to do it? Now it's like literally who has to be there? Okay, those people will pick a day. And that does wake me up at 2 o'clock in the morning to go, okay, we're going to do it such and such, and this is how we're going to run it, and I'm going to make the best grazing platter ever.
I love a good grazing platter.
I know, I've just started making them, and I think they're
They're
very
the
cool.
best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the feeling of abundance.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
It
And
looks
freshness.
abundant and fresh, yeah.
So what have you got coming up in the next few weeks?
There's a plant swap this
Oh,
next
yes.
weekend down in Caloundra.
Okay. So this coming weekend?
I think so,
All right.
plant swap. All Things Garden Sunshine Coast
Great.
has a plant swap. And, another thing, I recently went to the medieval fair
Yes.
and walked in there, and there was the gypsies, the medieval gypsies, and something. My dad's Hungarian, and he, escaped Hungary back in the '56 revolution. But there was something that drew me to those gypsies. So that's on the 2nd and 3rd of September down in Petrie Town. There's the Shivani Festival. It's a medieval gypsy festival.
How fantastic.
So going to be making headdresses.
I saw you all dressed up
yeah.
when you were drawn into that gypsy camp.
I actually wrote to them and said, can I come and join the gypsies? And they said yes, please
Fantastic,
do.
yeah.
But I think I'm going to have to taper that back a little bit.
That's because you like to be involved in everything, isn't it?
So I'll probably just go down and make a headdress and things like that.
Yeah.
But the gypsies just intrigue me.
So the 2nd of September, which is a Sunday.
Yeah, 2nd and 3rd, I think it's a Saturday and Sunday, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Shivani, Shuvani.
All right, and people can find that on the internet?
Yes, Shivani Festival,
And you'll be there making headdresses.
Something like that. And learning about herbal medicine.
Yeah.
That was another interesting thing at the medieval fair, was talking to the various herbalists. I love what they've set up. It's just, you walk through the ages and you
it's
look
fantastic.
at their stuff. Yeah.
There's such a thirst for knowledge there, isn't it? I mean, you just never stop wanting to learn.
No.
and experience and
Yeah.
see things.
And at the garden, we've got a few garden beds when we're talking about the herbs and things that I kind of like to see having herbal things, and so many interesting people come in and go, oh yeah, I can give you this, and we've got that, and this is good for headaches, and who knew 2 nasturtium leaves will cure a headache. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So can people still get involved in the Bedina gardens as well?
Yeah,
How would that
we've
work?
got, at the moment, we've got probably 6 or so beds vacant.
Okay.
It's kind of, they do fill up, but if you want to start growing in a small space and it's contained, like I try and grow at home, but it's just too big. So I like that you can contain it and you can create your own ecology in that one bed or 2 beds. And yes, they can. So Bedina Community Garden on Facebook.
All right.
Yeah, just like us there and you can find us there. Or the website. Yeah.
Fabulous. All right.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thanks for coming.
No worries.
Monica, thanks for joining me.
I feel it.
I know, but that's okay. We just like to chatter,
Yeah.
get it all out.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just such a vast range of topics we could cover.
We could keep going.
Yeah, we could, but
Well,
we're not.
we won't.
No, people will stop watching. So thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. Thanks for being with us. Please feel welcome and encouraged to share Monica's story. And if you're interested in community gardens or the Gypsy Festival down at Petrie or Toastmasters, any of those things,
English
if you
language.
are a persistent person who likes to get involved with everything, come and check out Monica in all of those places. She will encourage you.
You'll find me. Come and have a chat.
Yeah. So thank you for watching.